all the directors in regards to concerns, issues that the residents have brought up, and concerns that you have just brought up specifically, Mr. Lawson. So I will touch base with Director Richardson next week in regards to that and see if we have any type of mitigation or some type of other safety protocols that can be used to protect the members of the Public Works Department from doing those projects. So I will touch base with him on that. As far as the insurance part, I will say I believe that a check went out to pay the supplemental liability insurance for the village, and that it will be reestablished. As far as insurance in regards to employee-related incidents, workers' compensation, treatment, medical treatment for employers, I am meeting with a representative from Ingalls Hospital next week in regards to implementing a plan in regards to for employee injuries where employees can go to one place for physical therapy, for medical treatment of their injuries and authorization of medical care. So that onus will not be on the employees anymore, the onus will be on the village to take care of those matters. So we will be doing, myself will be meeting with that representative, and that is developing plans for both public works, police and fire, and other non-specialized village employees.
William Randolph, this is the Public Works Department. In the process of cutting down the trees, will you be grinding the stumps?
No, they don't grind them.
As of the date that will happen, I can't give that to you, but we do cut the stumps down. You have to talk to call the office and talk to the director of what time do he put out for that. I can't answer that question. But we do cut stumps.
Cutting the stump down or cutting it down is not grinding the stump, because a lot of times...
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's up to the director with Dave's out. He's going to do that. So I can't really say.
And just to address your question, that what you just brought up, that's what's going to be put in that plan in the near future. Like I said, a bid process, a request for proposal to deal with those specific questions that you have to make sure things are done properly. Because as you know, cutting down a tree, there's more than just cutting down the tree. And you got roots that still grow underneath that, so I am aware of that. And that is a part of the process that we will be doing to address the tree trimming issues overall in the village.
Hello, I am Shirley Williams. First, I'd like to thank the Town Hall Committee for putting together such a wonderful, wonderful forum today. And I really appreciate it. It's very orderly and very, very respectable. Thank you very much. The second thing I'd like to say is regarding, because I didn't realize that we can speak actually when people were presenting. I thought that we had to speak when it was an open forum, questions and answers, but that was just a mishap on some of our parts. So I'll go ahead and speak now as far as the interim village manager and Mr. Hunt are speaking for Public Works. And our village doesn't look good, okay? I mean, just the overall presence of it as of right now, it's almost, and I just want to say, I don't want to use the word, but I have to, it's deplorable, okay? Compared to other villages surrounding. I don't even want to go to the Mayberry days back in those, because we can't do everything that we used to do. But, you know, when we come from Creek, and you see all the hedges trimmed back, and you see it going all the way back up into the property line of each individual coming along Creek, and it's just all succinct coming down. When you come through other areas, then you have Public Works that are out there that are doing a lot of different things, and I understand we're understaffed, I understand that. But aesthetically pleasing front for University Park is necessary. Me being a real estate broker, owning my own company, and showing properties to individuals in University Park, when they come through and they're looking, they're kind of disgusted, honestly. When we start running in the area, when I take them through Richmond Park or Olympia Fields or Creeks and different areas, and they're like, oh, it looks very nice, it looks very nice. And then we get to University Park, like, oh my God, it's this, you know, for lack of a better term, it's just kind of like the ghetto. You know, and these are the questions that I get asked, and I can't speak to that being a realtor. And I'm like, well, you know, all areas are good areas. That's my legal answer. That's what I have to answer legally. But aesthetically, this is the impression that I continue to get, and it's not on the residents. I like to speak to also the mosquitoes, and that goes back to Public Works, because there are certain things that we used to do in University Parks that are no longer done, such as dragging the creek, cleaning out all of the debris out of the creek, going up and down the creek. Now, the creek has different ravines that end up into the creek, okay? So everybody knows that the creek is going down behind Sandra, behind White Oak, and then through the forest preserves, behind the pool area. No one has touched that. I go back there, there are trees growing up, there's weeds growing up. Then now they're coming over the sidewalks that you used to have a walking path to go past. They're coming over there because Public Works has not touched it in years. We're not talking about a year. We're not talking about this summer. We're talking about years. Now, when you do that, the mosquitoes harvest, the larvae harvest up in there. That was a way that we controlled it, the mosquito abatement. They used to drop mosquito pellets and different things like that to kill the larvae before they even hatched. So we go out, we go walking, our kids outside, they come back with all type of bugs because we're not doing the things that need to be done. On Snake Hill, behind White Oak Lane, there's a hill that we used to ride our bikes down. They used to cut both sides of that. They haven't cut that. They haven't cut it at all. There's a ravine that goes down and goes into the creek and goes into the sewer. Now, I said this, I don't know if it's before Mr. Hunt was the head over there. I think it was Mr. Townsend. That was a weed growing out of the sewer at that time. Now that weed is over 7 feet coming out of the sewer. That means that these things are not being attended to. There are also other ravines throughout the village that are growing up and growing out. Authentically over there by your house, in the back going up that ravine, that's maintained by the village. It has not been touched in years. There are things that just cutting certain parts is not going to cut it. We have to dig deep. Like you said, when you go into therapy inside of a family, we're a family. And when you go into therapy inside of a family, you got to dig deep. You got to go where are the issues at. Because if we don't clean out those dirty issues, they just going to overflow in different ways, different forms. So that's my thing for Public Works, and that's just the start of it. I'd like to go ahead and continue a conversation as far as that's concerned, but I want to, just for time's sake, I'm going to stop right here, okay? But we really need to pay attention to our community so that we can get more people in here that's going to pay tax dollars, that's going to rise our tax base, that's going to give us the monies in order to do the things that we need to do to pay Public Works. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Okay, to answer some of that you said, I wrote down these concerns. I'm gonna give it to the director so he can address it.
And just for clarification, I'm really big on communication. Since I've been here, I've been really big on communication. If there's an issue as residents, if you see an issue that's not being addressed, please feel free to email me your concern, and I will give you a response, and I will follow up with the respective department. I do keep a list of various concerns that residents have, and I do ask for a projected time of resolution to look at these things. So just in future reference, if there's other areas that you see that need attention in regards to any department within the village, please feel free to email the individual director or email me, and I will be more than happy to address it and actually respond to your email and give you a formal response to it to address those matters.
Okay, my name is Robert Travis. This is regarding the roadways and the lighting. I know year after year. Can you hear me now? Okay. My name is Robert Travis. I have a question concerning the roadways and the lighting. I realize we can repair the streets every year. I want to know what kind of patch are you using? Are you using a hot patch or a cold patch? And how are you handling the expansion and contraction of the new asphalt you guys installed? And are you guys aware of the many lights along the roadways that are out? How are you going to handle that? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Travis.
The roadway repairs, we use cold patch. It's not holding up that well, I guess, because we have visited a hole that we repaired months prior and going back. So that's up to the director. I don't know what kind of patch that is, but I know it's cold patch. But the lights, due to the finance restraints we have, we go out and we buy repair parts for lights. We install them, but we just can't, we don't have the money just to buy what we need. We buy what we can and then we do the repairs and we write down what lights that still out, and I think he sends out to get lights out to so I don't know, a couple times a month, and we do what we can to repair what is necessary. I mean, that's where we are.
Okay, thank you.
How are the streets prioritized to determine which potholes will be filled? Amherst and Abbott are like minefields.
I don't have a schedule of what streets are being repaired. Mr. Richardson gave it to us in that particular morning to go out, that assignment to go out on different streets to repair. So you have to talk to him or at the office to find out how he can, he could put those streets together to be repaired. I can't answer that.
Okay. This is more of a statement from a resident. Abbott and Ashridge lanes need new roads, no more patching. It does not last. New sidewalks, lots of sidewalks are sunken or broken. They are old, trash in the streets. The question is, other neighboring towns have good, clean cities. Why can't we?
I agree.
Hello, my name is Robin, and I just had a quick, your last name? Walker. And I had a quick question back to the tree removal. Once the list is prioritized for the tree removal, can we have it publicized?
I don't
the
see an
residents can
issue.
see?
I don't have an issue with being transparent with that. Once that list is done by the Public Works Department, by address and by area, and a prioritization is done, I have no problem in placing that on the website to be transparent so residents to understand.
So they can see. Okay. And then also, maybe an update then to be given at each board meeting as far as what's been done, and just keep updating at each board meeting. Okay. All right.
That's not a problem.
Thank you.
My name is Warren Hunter, and it's kind of directed towards public works and everything. I live on Amherst. I know guys that are paying to have their trees, those dead trees cut down on our street, and someone looking to reimburse these people. I have one in front of my house. That's the first question I have. But the main thing is this here, is when you decide that you are going to cut these trees down or whatever schedule you make, could you please draw some kind of map when these people are they're gonna get these trees cut down, keep us informed of what's going on. The next thing, the problem I have with it, which is really starting to get me a little angry with all this process, is you're telling me that Mr. Richardson called him and talked to him. How come he isn't here?
Yeah.
This is the thing that I have a problem with. You telling me to talk to someone that's in you're here, but they're not here. The people that are making these decisions. I'm not blaming you, but my thing is this here is that the person that really needs to answer these questions is the person that's not here. We have streets not only in front of my house. I have potholes in front of my house. Patch it, you come back before the summer. It's the same thing again. I go to my parents. My parents been living in University Park since 1981, when it was called Park Forest South. And that's just how long I've been coming here. I decided to move here because I thought this was a nice place to live. And I'm looking at how it's digressed and to the point that we are now. I brought my brother lives in University Park, my sister, my parents, my uncle, my sister-in-law lives in University Park. Now, when I go to work, they ask where you live. You get embarrassed, as to say, because of the state that we're in. It's not the residents. I agree, some residents need to probably take care of their property a little bit better. But for the most part, this is the village's issue. And this is something that you guys need to take care of. However you take care of it, you can't tell me how to do your job, or do my job, and I can't tell you how to do yours. My thing is this here, we need to fix it, however it's done.
Okay, Mr. Richard is out of town due to his taking his child to college. Now, as far as, what's your name?
My name is Warren Hunter.
I'm gonna shake your hand because I feel everything you're talking about, okay? Because I live here too. I feel all of that. I want my street to be potholes taken care of. I want the trees cut down. I feel what the community feels. I feel what the community feels. And it hurts me to go out in this community and see everybody else seem like they prospering. They have stores, they have clean streets. That's the other issue we have. People dumping trash out on our streets. And that is terrible. We out every day cleaning these streets. I mean, it's terrible. And that takes away from us doing other things. I wish we as a community can talk to the children. We see people throwing garbage out their cars. Stop them and say, that's not right, pick up your trash. Because we don't have that many bodies. And we send 3 or 4 people out to deal with trash. We can't deal with the other things. I don't know the answer to all of this that we are talking about, but just like I said, he's gonna make some arrangements with the director, and they're gonna try to make this happen. But just like you said, trees being cut down on your street, I don't know if that's legal or not, because that's village, and that's kind of iffy thing, especially saying, is there a reimbursement? I don't know. You probably need to write that down, but I feel what you're saying.
Well, the thing is if we don't cut them down,
I understand
if
that
it
too.
falls,
So this is how I'll address the question with reimbursement. I will have a discussion with the board at the next board meeting in regards to that topic and try to brainstorm that issue in regards to reimbursement. I cannot answer that question, and the reason I can't answer the question, reimbursements and things like that in regards to village property being maintained by residents, I have to bring that to the board, get their input on it, as well as the village attorney. As far as those things go, if residents have cut, and I will say this, if residents have cut down trees that's on village property and they're seeking reimbursement, please submit the documentation. I cannot guarantee reimbursement, but I need to know how many residents we're talking about, how many residents took upon themselves to cut down the trees, because that's a budgetary question I have to answer to as well when bringing that before the board for potential reimbursement. So if any residents in the audience have done that, please send that information over to me and I can evaluate that and provide the numbers to the board and for them to make a final decision as far as reimbursement goes.
okay. This next thing has to do, and I guess I missed out when the gentleman was talking about the accounting, the state of accounting. And this is not the first time I've heard this here, that our accounting system is inadequate for the village. That's not an excuse as our accounting system not being inadequate. That's software that needs to be installed. And I've been doing IT for 20 years. And I'm quite sure the village can afford to to pay someone to come and install an adequate accounting system in this, where we can keep track of it, because if we don't, we're gonna keep running into the same issues that we're running into now. So if you don't have anybody in place, you need to find somebody that's in place that can give you quotes. And if you need help with it, I'll volunteer my time to help with that. But that's something that needs to be done, because we're gonna keep running into the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt.
Good afternoon. My name is Katrina Johnson. Ag is one of the areas that I teach in. And I wanted to address your priorities with the...
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, my name is Katrina Johnson, and ag is one of the things that I teach in. I wanted to address the priority that you set with regards to the trees. You had concerns with the first priority being assigned to trees that can fall on homes or people. And then, you know, the last priority was the diseased trees, you know, which there's no set date, you know, for them to be addressed. And I just wanted to interject something, that when you have trees that are diseased, they become a home for beetles, and those beetles prey on living trees. We've had national epidemics where whole areas have lost their trees. Whole communities have lost their trees because, you know, you had these bark beetles, you know, which were living in dead trees, and they were preying on the living trees. People don't, you know, may not understand that trees are connected. The root systems are connected under the ground. So when you have one, you know, dead tree, and when you have, you know, like an insect that's vectoring and infecting, you know, into a root system of one tree, then, you know, you can get an epidemic. So I just wanted to interject that, and to encourage you to, while you don't know when the dead trees will be removed, you may want to consider treating them, you know, for this issue. And I would also encourage you to reach out to the colleges, you know, in the area, in the state, that have forestry programs, because, you know, there may be some possibilities for some collaboration. You know, people who can come in and to assist with that at no cost to the village. And there may be, you know, some kind of fund that is, you know, available for disease prevention, because, you know, when you have an area that's that is infected, it can it's like it could be a county-wide and a state, you know, wide problem. To give an example of that, California lost 1 million trees. The whole campus of University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, I think it was in the top 3 of beautiful campuses, because they had a tree-lined quad, and if you Google it, you know, there's no trees there, you know, because this can be devastating. So I just wanted to interject that and to share those resources.
Ms. Johnson, since we're having a dialogue,
Yes.
I want to ask you a question about the trees. I did a little research, because my whole block is dead trees from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So once the trees start losing bark, then it's dried out. It's gone. I mean, how much time do we have before they start falling? Once they lose the bark.
Well, a tree can die over a period of years. You know, so a dead tree is a dead tree. You know, it's just, you know, like dying, you know, it dies over a period of time. You know, but if there's no life in it, there's no life in it. You know, what you have is things praying, you know, within like the bark.
Right.
You know, if you cut it,
But now the bark,
you get
tree's
termites,
dead,
you know.
all the bark
trees.
is falling off now.
Yeah,
So the tree is brittle.
yeah,
It doesn't have the skin to hold it together.
yes.
So it can fall.
Sure. And, you know, actually, given the area, this is like a plainy area. And you can have a situation with a strong frontline wind. Any 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, you know, can uproot a tree. You know, but in particular, when you have trees that are weakened, you know, in this state, you know, they're easier to topple over when we get severe weather. So,
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Marilyn Crockett. I live at 900 Hickok, and I've been in University Park since 1974. So when I moved here, I love the community, but things have changed. They've changed, and I must say not for the better. I've been up here many times and spoken about Cityscape, which is down Burnham Avenue, for you that don't know. It's an eyesore. It's a danger to our children. It's part of all of our community. Everybody that lives in University Park is affected by that. Not just us that live near it. And all I hear when I bring it to the board is, well, we can't do anything about it. Other towns don't allow that kind of thing to exist in their community. They get rid of it. We've got village attorneys. They can look up and find out who owns the property. Make them accountable. They buy these properties and just leave them sit, but they're a danger to our children. The windows are all broken. The doors, the garage doors are broken down. Anybody can access inside. The minute something happens to a child, then everybody's going to be devastated. But it's a danger. Anything could be going on over there at night, and it's dangerous. So I would ask that you do something about it. Don't just keep saying, well, we can't. Yes, we can do something about it. This is our neighborhood. And as far as, you know, the appearance of the village, I too am upset by the way it's looking. But we as residents can help too. People go by my property, throw things out the window. Do you think I just leave it there because I didn't put it there? Right. You as a resident have to get out and do something. If you're living there, even if you're renting and don't own it, if you're living there and somebody throws something where you're living, please pick it up. Talk to your children, educate them. Start areas in your neighborhoods. Maybe organize the kids maybe once every 2 weeks. Let's go out and clean up our, you know, if you're in the townhouses or whatever. But we can help the situation. But if you live out here, you need to pay for someone to pick up your garbage instead of dumping it. Thank you.
thank you, Ms. Crockett.
Can I address Ms. Crockett's question, please? My name is Inspector Belgrave, and I'm with the Code Enforcement Department. We have ticketed Cityscape many years ago, and as far as I know, several of our lawyers were addressing the problem. But the lawyers seem to be changed so often is that